right that money doesn't work. The fundamental economic insight, oddly enough, is that not everything can be bought with money. This seems so obvious to the ordinary person that most of us don't think about it. Our inner economist knows that money cannot buy love, respect, or peace of mind. Our bosses and employees know that a bonus won't solve every problem in the workplace. If we can't buy it with money, there is just no marketplace for that object of desire. Given that we don't have markets in everything, we have to motivate other people and motivate ourselves to get where we want to be. Understanding and tackling this problem will fill this book. Using incentives and using markets in the most effective ways is far more difficult than simply going out and buying a banana. Many of the limitations of markets are rooted in the imperfections of the human mind. Markets always interact with the complexities of human motivation, and when they are set up crudely or without much thought, they tend to misfire. Why don't we have more markets in self-improvement? No, I don't mean the self-help books we buy just to feel we are trying. I mean truly binding contracts, whereby we promise to lose weight, but if we don't, we must pay money to a stranger. That's right, put up some money and hire someone to make you diet. It sounds simple enough. But no, that won't make you want to lose weight, and building up that desire is usually the only real long-term solution. Observers frequently believe that economists advocate the total commercialization of everyday life. We economists are accused of viewing all human choices in terms of dollars and cents. Or we supposedly believe that markets are always good, or that markets can solve all problems. I do know a few economists who hold these views, but they do not follow from the essential principles of economics. One of the most important lessons of economics is how to cope with scarcity. We cannot always pluck bananas from trees, or get the best health care, or buy everything in well-lit, air-conditioned shopping malls. Economics developed out of a recognition of the fact that many things worth having don't just fall into our laps in the course of our everyday lives. Even ordinary personal things like falling in love, surviving your next meeting, and motivating your dentist. The real purpose of economics is to get more of the good stuff in life. Of course, economics is also about the national and global scale as reported in the evening news, stock prices, and World Economic Forums. Economists have long dreamed of making the whole world a better place. And yes, economic analyses do explain why the citizens of some countries are taking delightful vacations in Paris, while others are plowing field corn under a 100-degree sun. The founders of the science developed economics because they felt the world was full of injustices and squandered life opportunities. Economics, a cherished creation of the 18th century Enlightenment, stems from the same belief in liberty and progress that influenced the birth of the American Republic. The Founding Fathers believed in the power of human liberty, that is, a society based on the idea of free and responsible individuals. It is a profoundly important fact, which I will discuss further in the next chapter, that you can't understand how incentives work if you don't understand the importance of a respect for human liberty. Economics, when it serves to boost the wealth of nations, as Adam Smith called it, takes people from want and misery to health and plenitude. All that is true and important. But for this book, we will start with our jobs, our choices, and our personal relationships as foundation stones for all subsequent decisions. Saving the world will have to wait until Chapter 9. To be sure, this is not the only book that applies economics to everyday life. My colleagues and friends David Friedman, author of Hidden Order, The Economics of Everyday Life, and Steve Landsberg, author of Fair Play, both promote economics as a tool of universal reasoning. They urge us to apply the ideas of incentives, markets, and property rights to our families, our jobs, and our personal allocation of time. But I often disagree with their advice and fear that they, for all their brilliance, play into the caricature of the economist. Their approach implies that ordinary life is more like buying a banana than we usually think. Just go out and use markets and incentives, is their mantra. This is, at best, risky advice. In my view, the complexity and diversity of human motivations ought to underlie the very foundations of economic reasoning.